The wind was calm over the Black Sea when the first warning appeared on Russian radar screens, a tiny, almost invisible dot moving across open water. Operators stared at it, confused. It was small, too small to be a jet, too fast to be a bird, and too far from the Ukrainian coast to be anything ordinary. They didn't know it yet, but this single dot would change everything that day, bringing chaos to one of Russia's most guarded offshore gas platforms and triggering a chain reaction no one saw coming. At that exact moment, miles away and just meters above the water, a Ukrainian long-range naval drone sliced across the dark sea. Its electric motor made barely any sound. Its camera scanned the waves calmly, like a predator gliding toward its target. It wasn't alone. Behind it, two more drones followed in a perfect triangle formation, their black hulls reflecting the rising sun. The mission had begun before dawn, but its planning started weeks earlier. Ukrainian intelligence had discovered unusual activity on a Russian-controlled offshore gas platform deep inside the Black Sea. It wasn't just pumping gas, it was being used as a military hub. Satellite images showed radar installations, drone launch pads, communication relays, and armed guards stationed permanently across the platform. According to intercepted communications, Russia was using it to track Ukrainian naval drones, guide aircraft, and monitor the entire southern coastline. Destroying it would weaken Russian surveillance across a massive area. But reaching it was almost impossible. Fighter jets risked detection by naval air defense systems. Warships couldn't get close without exposing themselves. Submarines weren't an option for a target like this. That left only one weapon: the new generation of long-range Ukrainian sea drones, silent, fast, and able to travel hundreds of kilometers without being detected. In a hidden shoreline bunker, Ukrainian drone operators and Navy officers huddled around glowing screens. The room was silent except for the soft hum of antennas receiving live footage from the sea. They watched the drones push deeper into contested waters, following a carefully mapped route that exploited gaps in Russian radar coverage. This was the most dangerous drone mission attempted yet. As the drones advanced, the Russian gas platform continued its normal operations. Workers performed routine checks, soldiers patrolled the metal walkways, and communication antennas hummed quietly. Nobody expected trouble. After all, they were far from the front lines, protected by the Russian Black Sea Fleet and surrounded by layers of early warning systems. But the sea had changed. War had rewritten the rules. The Ukrainian drones suddenly shifted course, splitting into a loose formation. Their navigation software scanned the waves for interference. The operators monitored battery levels, wave height, and signal strength. Every detail mattered. If a drone malfunctioned this far from home, it was lost forever. Back on the Russian platform, a Marine guard leaned on the railing, drinking tea as he stared at the horizon. The sea looked calm, peaceful. Nothing unusual. But below that calm, three silent machines moved like shadows. When the first drone came into visual distance, it was still too small to cause alarm. It looked like a floating black object, a buoy, a stray barrel, maybe a log drifting on the tide. But it moved too precisely. Too smoothly. Too intentionally. The guard squinted. Then he froze. The black object suddenly accelerated. He dropped his cup and ran. Within seconds the entire platform erupted with alarms. Soldiers raced to their stations. They fired warning shots into the water. But the drone didn't stop. It weaved left and right, making itself harder to hit. Sparkling trails of bullets zipped across the waves behind it. The Ukrainian operator watched calmly through the drone's onboard camera. He adjusted speed, stabilized the drone, and locked onto the main structural support of the platform. Every second mattered. The drone surged forward. Russian soldiers leaned over the railing, shouting, firing, desperate to stop the threat. But the drone was already too close. And then, impact. A blast tore through the lower deck of the gas platform. Fire and smoke erupted upward in a massive plume. Metal beams twisted. Equipment shattered. The platform lurched from the explosion's force, sending soldiers stumbling. But the strike wasn't over. The second drone appeared almost instantly, racing through the smoke like a speeding torpedo. Russian troops fired wildly, but their shots scattered in every direction. The drone's camera locked onto a fuel storage tank. Sparks flew as bullets ricocheted off its hull. But it kept going. The Ukrainian operator pushed the throttle forward. Another explosion rocked the structure. Flames rose on the western side of the platform, and black smoke began pouring into the sky. Workers jumped into emergency shelters. Soldiers shouted orders that were lost beneath the roar of fire. The third drone approached from the far side, using debris and flames as cover. This time it aimed directly at the communications tower, a key Russian asset used to track Ukrainian naval movements. Russian defenders focused on the wrong direction, not realizing the drone was circling behind them. By the time they saw it, it was too late. A final explosion ripped through the communications array, sending metal pieces raining into the sea. The tower folded and collapsed like a broken mast. The platform was now engulfed in fire. Ukrainian operators leaned back, exhaling slowly. The mission had succeeded beyond expectation. But the story wasn't over. Russian warships stationed dozens of kilometers away detected the explosions. They turned toward the platform at full speed. Helicopters lifted off from coastal bases. A frantic search began for the attackers, but they were looking in the wrong direction. The Ukrainian drones, already destroyed in the strike, left no return path to trace. No signal to follow. No wreckage to capture. It was the perfect asymmetric strike. Hours later, as fire teams tried to control the blaze, Russian media released conflicting statements. Some claimed it was an accident. Others blamed sabotage. But satellite photos leaked within hours, showing clear blast points, 3 separate impacts. Independent analysts quickly confirmed what happened. Ukraine had hit the platform with naval drones in a coordinated attack. The strategic impact was enormous. With the communications tower destroyed, Russian naval surveillance weakened across a huge stretch of the Black Sea. Radar information feeding into coastal defense networks was suddenly cut off. Several Russian missile batteries became partially blind. Patrol aircraft struggled to track Ukrainian drones and boats. The platform had been a key node in Russia's early warning chain. Now it was gone. But something else happened, something Russia didn't expect. A day after the strike, a massive portion of the platform began sinking. Structural supports weakened by the explosions collapsed under the platform's own weight. Video footage captured the moment when part of the deck buckled and tilted toward the sea. Flames hissed as burning metal touched water. Russian crews scrambled to evacuate equipment before the entire structure became unstable. Meanwhile, Ukrainian officials released a short statement. The strike targeted a military asset illegally used by Russia to support aggression in the region. No details were given. No footage. No celebration. Just a simple message. Ukraine is watching, and nowhere is safe for militarized structures. Inside Russia, the reaction was immediate. Naval commanders were forced to reposition ships to protect remaining offshore installations. Defense systems were hastily upgraded. Patrols increased. But all of this cost time and resources Russia desperately needed elsewhere. And none of it fully solved the core problem. Ukrainian drones were evolving faster than Russian defenses. In the following weeks, more Russian radar posts, command nodes, and logistical hubs came under similar threat. The strike on the gas platform became a symbol of a new era, one where small drones, not giant warships, shaped control of the Black Sea. Back in Ukraine, the team who carried out the strike received little public recognition. Their identities remained hidden, their achievements known only within military circles. The operators simply returned to their screens, planning the next mission, building the next drone, improving the next design. They knew the war was far from over, and each success had to be followed by another. But among them, there was a quiet sense of pride. Not for destroying a platform, but for proving something deeper, that innovation, intelligence, and determination could overcome a larger enemy. That even a distant gas platform guarded by armed soldiers and surrounded by open sea could be reached. That no target was beyond their capabilities. Weeks later, analysts reviewed recordings from the drone cameras. In one frame, just seconds before impact, the lead drone captured the silhouette of the platform glowing under the rising sun, a structure that once stood as a symbol of Russian presence in the sea. The drone rushed forward, unwavering, silent, unstoppable. And in that moment, one thing became clear: the Black Sea had changed forever. This is what happened when Ukrainian drones struck a Russian gas platform, and how a silent attack in the early morning burned its way into military history.